I own hundreds of keyboards, but only a chosen few you guys actually buy. Which ones are they? Well, to figure it out, I dug through the data. I went through all of our affiliate sales to find out the keyboards that reign supreme above all else, based only around what you're actually buying and not my opinion. Because when in doubt, follow the herd, right? Wait, that sounds bad. But this video is special because I'm going to pull back the curtain a bit and show you the good stuff, the side only creators see, to show you the top 10 keyboards you guys actually buy. Now, I have my own motivation for doing this too because I've been a bit of a hoarder lately. My storage racks are overflowing with keyboards and I need to do some summer cleaning to get rid of this stuff, especially the stuff that nobody cares about anymore. So we can figure out which ones to hang on to and which ones to ditch. In case you didn't know, creators can make money through something called affiliate marketing. This will give us the juicy insight into what you all are actually buying every single day. Basically, if you buy a product that we recommend, we get a small percentage of that sale as a commission. This works great for everyone. We recommend you the best products, you enjoy said products, and we get a small commission so we can keep putting out banger videos like this. Is this a self-proclaimed banger video? But what they don't tell you is that we can actually see what you're buying, which I'm gonna share with you today. So starting out, there's probably a few keyboards you expect to see on this list, right? The really popular keyboards like the Owla F75 and the Rainy 75, the ones that everyone thinks are the best options. They're 75%, they're creamy, and they have a nice bouncy feel. Typing on them literally makes me want to sit at my desk and never stop typing. But how do they actually stack up on the list? And which ones do you buy more of? Is there one that comes out as a clear winner? Real quick, did you know that they made the world's first invisible switch? Oh wait, if you look closer, they're not really invisible, just camouflaged. These are the Commander King Switches Pro from today's sponsor, TTC. And if you've got a magnetic AG keyboard like the Wooting 80 AG, this is the perfect upgrade. It's an ultra smooth linear switch with a 32 gram initial travel force, making it great for gamers who want a lightweight and responsive setup. But my favorite part is the sound. The switches have a nice creamy and thocky bottom out that you really want, while also being super durable thanks to the palm design. You also get way less stem wobble while typing with the integrated stem, and it helps remove the higher pitch sounds you don't want, leaving only the deep, stable typing sounds. They also have small ventilation holes to keep it cool during intense gaming and keep dust and debris out for a longer lasting switch. There's even a built-in RGB diffuser, making your RGB look noticeably brighter and more even. Get the TTC Commander King Switches Pro today in the link below at ttcswitches.com. So as you can expect, you can definitely see the Owla dominate the list. But what's interesting is that it's not just the 75% version. You have the 96% size with a number pad, you got 65% TKL full size, and more. With different switch types, the Pro version, the non-Pro version, you guys can't get enough of this brand. The Owla is everywhere. And not just Amazon either. It's the most popular option on sites like Temu and AliExpress as well, which makes sense. I mean, it's not a surprise to me or anyone here. I believe this is the best value option if you're looking to get a keyboard in the $60 range. Another option that's not a surprise, the Rainy 75. The Rainy is a keyboard that's like a more premium version of the Owla. At a price closer to $100, it's my favorite recommendation for most people. The case is entirely aluminum instead of plastic, which makes it feel nice. It's known for its signature raindrop sound, and people just really like this board, me included. When I stacked it up against every other $100 keyboard, it came out on top, with the Bridge 75 in a close second. But while it's close in the number of purchases, it's not quite as popular as the Owla F75. I think the higher price tag makes it a bit more out of reach for people on a budget, or people who just aren't ready to spend that much on a keyboard. $100 is a lot, but with the all metal feel, the nice back weight, and the tritone keycaps, it's really hard to pass up for me, and a lot of you. So now that we've got those obvious options out of the way, this is where things get interesting. what other keyboards make the cut for you guys? What are you actually buying? And I've made literally zero progress decluttering, so we need to start getting rid of stuff soon. It's looking worse than my Steam library packed full of uninstalled games that I never complete. So looking at the data, there are some interesting keyboards that pop up. One that I didn't expect to be this popular is another pretty expensive keyboard. I assume that most people tend to go budget as they're more accessible, and budget's getting really good nowadays. You know, budget boards like the Ajas AK820 Pro, which is a strong contender in this list too. You guys buy a lot of these. This keyboard is in the same camp as the Owla, around $60 with similar features, except it has a screen, nice keycaps, and it sounds a little different. But what surprises me is the expensive option. This is even more expensive than the Rainy. To make it even weirder, it's not even a 75% keyboard, the most popular layout. I'm talking about the Crush 80. This is by the same company that made the Rainy, except they went all out for this one. Everything about this board just feels premium. The metal machining looks clean, and it even has this EKG glow thing and RGB side glow. Unfortunately, like the Rainy, the on-off key is hidden under the caps lock, so that's fun. But still a major contender on this list. It's nice to see that you like quality products and not just the cheap stuff. I'll keep that in mind for future videos. As far as decluttering though, I've made some progress. I've noticed there are no big brand name gaming keyboards on this list, which makes sense. No one wants to buy overpriced gaming keyboards. You all want value and quality, not, you know, useless marketing hype. But you know what surprised me on this list of keyboards that you keep buying? The ones that I have never even reviewed before. You may be wondering how I can see that you're buying these even if it's not a product that I linked to. Well, if you click on a link to a website like Amazon, I end up getting a commission on any purchase that you make through that link, not just that specific product. So if you buy a keyboard and a microwave, I also get the commission for the microwave too. It's funny. I remember when I first started the channel, the first thing someone bought was a couch with an Iron Man on it for like $800. I see some weird stuff. But what's interesting about these keyboard purchases is that they are the ones you made after ignoring my recommendations, which I find pretty funny. So which keyboards are they? An unexpected one is a keyboard that is very, very, very similar to the Rainy 75. It's aluminum, it's 75%, and it's a similar price tag. My guess is since it's so similar to the Rainy and happens to go on sale a lot, like all the time, it probably seems like a no-brainer option when you just compare the price, especially when the sales on it go pretty hard. I actually have this keyboard and I have tested it a lot, and I almost made a video on it, but something held me back. When it arrived, it was already bricked. To fix it, I had to call Amazon support, and then they contacted the company support. Nothing worked. It's still broken. And that's the Epomaker SK75. I honestly really like the keyboard, you know, when it's working. It's essentially the exact same as the Rainy, but with a nice blue mirrored backplate that just looks so good. It also has VIA, a nice creamy typing sound, and of course, the gasket mount. Ooh yeah. But alas, I couldn't get over the bad customer service, and I just can't recommend it to you in good conscience. And if you do want to see me review it someday, leave a comment down below. So is it a mistake to buy it? You know, my bad experience aside, I don't think so. It's still a really good keyboard, you're just gambling a bit with customer support. But for most of these keyboards, you're gambling on them as well. And depending on the price that you can get the Epomaker at, it could be a really smart purchase. But you know what's not a smart purchase? All these weird themed boards these companies keep sending me that are filling up my storage racks. And getting rid of all this stuff is a lot harder than I initially thought. What should I do with all these keyboards? Leave a comment down below. Another keyboard I didn't expect on this list, and I'm really happy that it's here, is an option that I love and I think is criminally underrated. It should be at the top of every list. Maybe it's not as underrated as I thought. It has something called Hall effects, which are typically used in gaming keyboards, but I found that I really enjoy them for general usage too. If you get the actuation point set up just right, I found that they make my typing feel more consistent and lead to less errors and therefore faster typing. So it's nice to see people actually buying this one. And that's the Keyron K2 AG. This thing just feels so good to use. It sounds so satisfying. It looks looks phenomenal too, but it's expensive, and I can see why it's not higher on the list. It's $140, and I think a lot of people are still skeptical of Hall effect in general. You probably all think it's a marketing gimmick, especially since companies make a lot of crazy claims about them, but I've come to really enjoy them. I feel Keyron just really nailed this board. It's not gamery, the software is surprisingly good, and it's just a pleasure to use. So next on the list is a budget keyboard that shocked me because it's something I've barely talked about at all. It's a keyboard that I personally really like, but for whatever reason, I've never done a video on it. It's just a practical, clean keyboard that feels good and sounds good. The type of thing that you really can't go wrong with, but it also doesn't jump out at you and say, buy me, buy me. And that's the Techware Spectre 75%. This keyboard is all black with a knob and a nice little screen. Of course, it has a gasket mount, so it's bouncy and flexy, but what's interesting about it is that the sound is pretty quiet too. It's thocky, but it's quiet. If you work in an office and you want something that's affordable and won't make people think you're a weirdo that's just obsessed with keyboards and wants everyone to hear his keyboard, this is a great choice. But it definitely wasn't topping the charts. I'd put it below the other budget options in terms of how many people were buying it. I'd say it's a really classy pick, which is hard to find at this price, where everything tends to be more gamer, more colorful, or loud and creamy and poppy. But it's not perfect either. It still has an all plastic build, but your money doesn't feel wasted when you buy it. It's solid. So these last two keyboards are what I would call ultra niche products that happen to be the best in their little spaces. The category kings. If there's one comment I get all the time, it's how compact keyboards aren't real keyboards because you're not a real man unless you have a number pad. So recently, I bought every keyboard I could find with a number pad and I made a video on it. My favorite option was the Keyron V6 Max. But what's interesting is that it's not the one you're actually buying the most. Instead, you're buying my second favorite option, the Epomaker TH99. I love this option because I feel like it balanced out the budget, feel, and sound, and it was just the best out of all the options. It's compact, but it still has a full-size number pad. You get the full-size 0, and a lot of 96% keyboards just don't do this. So I guess you guys are looking for the more practical option. I will say though that recently I've been testing some new full-size keyboards that didn't come out until after my video that I think could have really made the list. So if you want to see a review on a full-size keyboard, let me know. And finally, the last keyboard is another niche option. It's coming after a huge trend in the keyboard space, low profile keyboards. These are thinner than normal keyboards, and it seems like every month a new one launches. But which one comes in as the winner? Honestly, there are 2 or 3 major options most people are buying. The one with the most total sales since January would have to be the low-free Flow Lite, the cheapest option on the list. I really like this one. I feel like it's a great value and it's super portable. Like, it's so lightweight. But there's another up-and-comer that's been dominating recently, and that's the Iquinix MQ80. Since it was released last month, you guys have been really liking it. It's a bit thicker than the low-free Flow Lite and a lot heavier too, since it's all aluminum. But man, the typing experience on it is top tier. It rivals and even beats normal keyboards in most situations. So those two are the clear winners, with the MQ80 winning the Flow Lite more recently, and a third place prize probably going to the Newfie Kick 75. Now, if you have a keyboard and you haven't seen it on the list yet, it doesn't mean that your keyboard sucks. It probably just means you bought it a long time ago and times change. So don't feel pressured to buy something just because everything else is. Don't follow the herd, right? But if you are interested in any of these products you've seen in this video, check out my other reviews or use the links down below. But now that I'm all caught up, I can finally get rid of the keyboards that no one seems to be buying anymore. But what should I do with all these boards? I thought about selling them, but that really just doesn't sit right at all. I feel like they're not really my keyboards. They were sent to me so I could share them with the world. So instead, I think I'm gonna donate them. I ended up dropping them at my local Goodwill and I said goodbye, because sometimes you just need to let go. Sayonara, keyboards that I've been holding on to for a bit too long.